Ready?
Yep.
Okay. Oh man. Yeah, turn it off, didn't you? I look good too. What's your face on?
Yo, yo, yeah.
Come on, Theodore.
What I do talking about child support. Everybody knows that I ain't trying to go to court. I ain't trying to pay for nobody's kids. I'm just trying to live my life and do biz.
Oh.
Hey, welcome everybody. This is your first time tuning in. This is your boy Q Walker on He Said, She Said. And we got the first lady in the building, Miss Chrissy J. Go and tell the people about yourself real quick for those who haven't tuned in before.
What's going on, everybody? It's your girl, Chrissy J. Tuning in today for a very, what most people think is a controversial topic, which is child support.
And of course, we got our IT guy, everybody's favorite IT guy,
What it do?
JT, aka
Theodore.
Theodore.
I don't know where they keep coming up with this Theodore name, man. But what up, y'all, man? Appreciate you guys tuning in. Very interested to get on this topic and grill Q a little bit. So.
Oh, who put this title up?
What's the title? I don't even see it. What is it?
How should child support be handled? Are women taking advantage of the system? Whoa.
Hey,
Who did that?
Shout out to Theodore. My guy.
One time.
Hey, shout out to Theodore. Hey, my fan.
That's how y'all feel?
Shout out to Jarvis. JT.
That's how y'all feel today?
I do apologize. Shout out to Jarvis JT. So let's get on right on into this thing. Jarvis, how do you feel about child support? What are your thoughts on it?
I really, to be completely honest with you, I've never really had experience with it. I just know experience from what other people have told me, like some of my friends. I do feel like the system is broken, which I'm pretty sure almost everybody can agree with. The system is broken in some kind of way. Like I said, personally, I've never had to deal with it. However, I do think for the longest time that it catered more towards the woman as opposed to anything with helping the man. So, Q, I'm gonna just go ahead and automatically flip it back on you because I want to hear some of your take on it.
I'm gonna get the ladies' thought. I want to know how Miss Chrissy J feels about child support because she's over here tapping the laptop, tippity tap. So what's your thoughts on child support?
Listen, I got a lot of thoughts on child support, but my views have changed over the years. I've been on both sides of it. At the end of the day,
Have you had to pay child support?
nah, I've been on the opposite side of either dealing with somebody or somebody in my family member, one of my family members having to pay it and looking at it from a different aspect than when I was the one actually getting child support. So I got 3 kids. I've gotten child support. I know a lot of people don't agree with what women do with child support. And there's certain situations, like I tell everybody, I told them the other day, it's a case-by-case situation because at the end of the day, I feel like primary parent, it doesn't even have to be the woman. If it's the dad, if they're paying child support, as long as your child's being taken care of, no, they shouldn't be able to dictate what you do with the money. A lot of people think there should be vouchers. I feel like if you pay an electric bill, if you pay the gas bill, if you pay gas in your car, any of that, if it's going towards your child, then that's okay. But that's how I feel about it, because I know a lot of people be like, well, the dad should have a voucher if it ain't shoes. Well, it takes more than clothes and food to take care of a child. And as a full-time parent, most people know that. If it's an event that they're a part of or an activity, that money can go towards that. My son's father paid child support. He didn't care what I did with the money as long as my son was taken care of. And I mean that in the sense of he knew I was responsible. I know there are mothers out there that a lot of people say, well, they're not responsible. They do what they want to with the money. They get their hair and their nails done. All my money goes in one big pot. Whether I spent it on my other 2 kids that he's not the father of or whether I spent it on my son, he was okay with as long as his son was taken care of. And I'm going to be honest with y'all. When I took him down for child support, I didn't do it because he wasn't taking care of his son. That's just the real. A lot of women won't admit that. I did it because he took me down for custody. And I was mad. He's always taking care of him. But he paid it and he's did it. My son's 18 now. But what?
But why would you take him down? I mean, why would you get him for child support if he took you down for custody? I mean, I don't know, in my opinion, I just feel like if he's trying to get custody of his child, was it split custody or he just wanted the child full-time?
No, he took me down for custody.
To get him full-time?
Yeah, and I had lawyer fees, and I felt like, and I was young, and I'm just being real, like, with age comes wisdom and growth and everything else like that. So at the time, I'm just like, I'm pissed because I'm like, you know, that I take care of my son, you know, and we had an argument, and I said, I think I told him, I said, well, you ain't gonna see him no more. I didn't mean it. I was mad, and immediately he went down there. He filed for custody. You know, my son was probably 5 or 6 years old.
See, I'm glad that you are able to sit here and admit to that and really put it out there that that was really based on your immaturity, because a lot of people can't do that. So yeah.
I mean, but it's real. I couldn't admit it then because I didn't understand it, because all I could see is what was in front of me, and I thought that I was right, not that it was wrong. But even on top of him paying child support, we remained good friends after that. Anything that my son needed, he never hit me with the get it with the child support. If he needed it, and a lot of times that's what you have to be able to co-parent. That was called co-parenting, which helped me to be able to grow and have more wisdom or whatever. But yeah, it's real. I mean, man, look, I can talk to y'all days about situations I went through with child support with my kids. But
Well, I guess we just gonna have a long conversation then.
I mean,
Now I tell you what though, to play both sides of the field real quick before I let Q really dive into it. To play both
I ain't
sides
got
of the
nothing to say.
field. When I was married to my son's mother and I came into the picture, she had a daughter, and I did see it from a different point of view then, because I seen us have to wake up early in the morning to have to take this child to school, us having to, I mean, and not that it's an inconvenience, but it does.
it's real life.
Yeah, it changes the scope of what you're doing on an everyday basis. And that man or that woman who's not in their child's life, either paying child support or not paying child support, they can wake up whenever they feel like it, or whenever their job tells them they need to wake up and get to work, as opposed to the child actually living with the one parent, and maybe that child has to go to school and be at school at 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. So I do see that angle, but I still think he was wrong at that time, and I'm glad you admitted it.
I mean,
Nah,
this is
she did something that a lot of women, like you said, can't do
Can't
and
do.
won't do, which is they know internally what they're doing, but they won't admit it outwardly. Like, yeah, I just did that out of spite. I just did that because I was bitter, and that takes a lot for anybody to say, especially a woman, to say something like that.
yeah, but it was so long ago, and from that we've grown, you know. And to this day, like me and my son's father, like I can actually say that we're friends. You know, we co-parent. We're able to take care of our son regardless of what goes on. But you know, then that's the situation with him. And I'm gonna tell you real quick, my situation with my oldest daughter, her dad paid me, and this is real talk, $115 a month, right? From the time she was born on up. I didn't take him down, he took himself down. His mom made him do it. I was 15 when I had her.
That's what I should have did.
And yeah, facts. And then it got to the point she gets in middle school. You get in middle school, things start costing more. She wants to be in activities. You know, he's living his life, whatever. I just asked him, I simply said, hey, you think you could start giving me a little bit more money? And she's probably 13 at the time. He was like, I ain't got it. I was like, oh, okay. Now I'm not counting his pockets, but I'm also looking at the fact you just moved in a new house, you got new cars, but you ain't got it. But I'm down here struggling. I don't ask you for nothing else. I was like, I'm just asking for a little help. You know, I got 2 other kids. His response was, that ain't my problem. I said, bet. So I went down there to the place, asked for a raise. They said if he's making 15% more than he was when you first took him down, then he has to pay. Man, he was making 375% more. And then they came back. He realized what he was going to have to pay. He said, hey, why don't I just give you $400 a month, and I'll just give it to you the difference, not go through the courts. I was like, all right, I'll think about it. Man, the courts came back and was like, nah, he owes you $615 a month. I said, bet. He came back to me. I got another daughter. What'd I say? That ain't my problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, I came to him and tried to be nice. And the reasons I never took him down for more child support in the beginning is because I didn't want to rock the boat. I was always a person, I don't want them to be mad. My pride, I can do it on my own. I don't need them. But I've been taking care of this long. You know, forget his money. Man, bump that. If you a single mom, you need the help, I'm going to take it. You know, you're going to be responsible for her. So we paid the money, and it is what it is. But he's not the type of person that's going to give you anything else outside of that. I'll tell you that.
That's the situations I hate, and I think a lot of moms out there get caught up in that where they get a guy on child support, and the dude is like, okay, well that's the child support. Don't ask me for nothing else. Like, I'm not doing nothing else I don't have to do. And my situation is a little bit different. To me, the system is effed up. And shout out to what's his name, Davion Griggs.
Davion.
Yeah, he says he has a family member. He keeps his son, but still has to pay child support to the mother. The system is backwards.
Very backwards.
I agree. Not only is it backwards, but it's messed up because with you, Chrissy, maybe you can explain this to me. If a guy has a job, right, he gets put on child support. Now, you told me, and I knew this as well, which is the mother has the option when y'all go to court to backdate it to when the child was born, correct?
Correct.
So if a mother backs, let's say the son is, or the child is 6. So you backdate it all the way to the child is 6.
Yeah.
Well, you can get locked up for that, right?
Yeah.
For back child support.
Yeah.
So the father, for whatever reason, has a headlight out or something, gets pulled over, they run his taxi, he back child support, he goes to jail, he loses his job. Child support don't stop. So you still accumulating rearages while you in jail. You get out, you done lost your job. So now you got to find another job. Meanwhile, child support still accumulating. So guess what? When you get a job, guess what they're going to do? Come find you again and lock you right back up. So please explain to me, how can a father get ahead when y'all keep locking him up for trying to get a job and pay his child support?
You can't. And this is one thing I don't agree with that. I don't agree with if you wait for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever years to go down there, that you should be able to go all the way back to them years. Why didn't you do it at first? Is it because y'all was together? Is it because he was taking care of the child and then you got mad? I didn't do that. When I went down, matter of fact, to be real with you, I signed a piece.
Hold on. So what y'all saying is, let me understand this. What y'all saying is, if me and you was together, 5 years had gone by, you can go back and get the 5 years?
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's, in my situation, mine is crazy because my rearages is not even included in my child support. So meaning I have to pay my child support and then go downtown and pay that.
Oh my God.
That's how it's messed up. Like, and I shout out to my daughter's mom, but she actually did what you did. Like, she told me why she put me on child support, which is she was bitter. I think when I had my youngest son. Yeah, when I had my youngest son, that's when she put me on child support. So my daughter was 4 at the time. Yeah, I think my daughter was 4 at the time when I had my youngest son. Of course, she told me that why she did it is she felt like I was just gonna ignore my daughter and just worry because I got 2 sons now. So I'm like, I've been there since day one. Even when I had my oldest son, I was still there. What makes you think because I have another son or another child, I'm just gonna ignore my daughter all of a sudden? But of course,
man, feelings.
and that's what it was. She was just upset and hurt, etc., etc. But she later admitted that to me. But it's crazy how a mother, and when we went down there, we went through the whole process. So I'm sitting in a room with the whoever guy he is. He looks at my paperwork, look at her paperwork, crunches the numbers together, and he says, "Is this fine with you?" I said, "Cool. I just wanted to get the process over with, to be honest with you, for real."
Yeah.
And I admitted to her, everybody who knows me and see my kids know my daughter looks just like me.
Dead on you.
But out of spite, he said, "Did you want to do a DNA test?" I said, "Yep." Yep, just out of spite, I just said, "Yep, let's do a DNA test." So it prolonged the situation for like 4 weeks till they got the results back. But anyways, so we was in there. He looked at my paperwork, looked at hers, gave us the numbers. I said, "Yeah," and he asked her. He said, "Do you want to backdate this, or do you want to start from his next paycheck?" She said, "No, we can just start from the next paycheck."
Ah, okay.
So that was cool with me. So we just started, and we've been good with that. I'll get to that situation in a second. Well, go ahead.
Nah, go ahead.
My son's mom. Now I have 2 different cases, right? Because I have two different moms. I got the dates mixed up. I missed my son's court date. So when I missed that court date, of course, it makes me look like a deadbeat, right? So they raked me through the coals. So not only did they get the maximum amount from me, she also backdated it for both sons. You see what I'm saying? But when and just to let everybody knows, the conversations I'm having today, I've had with both of them. So it ain't like, you know what I'm saying, this is new. Yeah. So I've had face-to-face conversations, and so they already know how I feel. But so when I approached her about it, she was like, "Nah, I didn't do that. I don't know what you're talking about." I'm like, "But I already went through the process before, so I already know how it goes."
Right.
But you acting like you didn't backdate. "Nah, I didn't do that." I said, "Okay, cool. If you didn't backdate it, go down there and drop it then."
Facts.
Nothing.
Where we at?
Oh, still in the rear, just.
Okay, and what effect does that take on you in your life and your situation? Like,
I'm gonna get to that in a second. We're gonna take a quick commercial break, so I'm gonna get all into that. We're gonna take a quick commercial break here on He Said, She Said on WLXU 93.9 FM. When we come back, I'll tell y'all how a little bit about my story, how it affects me. Let's see.
feel like there's a better solution. Some people get child support not even using it for the child. And I agree, some people do that. You may see some mothers out here that get their hair and their nails done, whatever it is, and the child running around looking crazy. However, you got situations where you got daddies out here doing what they doing and they ain't taking care of their kids. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, the thing is, it's not a fair system, and it is favored most of the time towards the mother, because most of the time the mother is the primary parent. Jarvis is a different situation. You know, he has custody of his son. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. Like, there's no easy fix to that.
There isn't.
Because
there's no easy fix, the government would just rather not fool with it at all. Because like I tell people, they not getting no cut, they not getting no percentage, they not getting from it. So why do they care about it? They don't give a damn about child support. That's between the parents. They don't give a shit about that.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
Welcome back to He Said, She Said on WLXU 93.9 FM. Today's topic is child support. And I want to dive on into my situation. So for the people, it's probably about a couple people who know my situation, but I just want to put this information out there to let people know that there are dads who are active in their child's lives and still get taken through the codes. Now, this conversation, the topic we have today, it's not for the deadbeats. You know what I'm saying? Like, for the deadbeats, for the moms out there, take that dude to court, get whatever you can from him. I'm cool with that. Like, if he ain't gonna be around to support you, you know, to help raise the child, then get whatever you can financially from the guy. But in my situation is that they got me, and like I think I told Jarvis this, for 60% of my check. So to break that down, get your calculators out real quick, people. So I'm paying $172 per child. This is not per month. This is per check. So $172 per child, that comes up to $516 per check. That comes up to $1,032 per month. You do that, that's 12 grand a year. I've been paying 5 years. That's 60 grand, fam.
60 grand.
60 grand I paid in 5 years just on child support alone. And then that's not even covering whatever expenses I want to pay for the kids. So for the guys out there who are in my situation, if you don't have,
see, I'm trying to think, man. I'm trying to do the math, and I'm thinking, okay, that's $20,000 a kid.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think within a 5-year period. If you splitting it down the middle, the mother's putting in $20,000, you putting in $20,000. Have you spent $40,000 on the child? I don't think so.
But see, but if you're talking about situations like specifically for the child, like, oh, his clothes, his whatever. I mean, it's like you got custody of your son, right?
Now, I mean, just from an overall standpoint.
But what if you got custody of your son, right?
Well, I technically don't have custody.
Meaning,
we have joint. But
okay,
yeah,
but he stays with you, right? Yeah. So when you pay rent, that goes towards your son, right? Because it puts a roof over his head.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not saying that the woman can't pay her own bills. What I'm saying is if that child's there, that if she's using that, then it should be okay with her. I'm not saying she shouldn't have her own. I'm not saying a woman should sit there and strictly live off your child support. Because I'm telling you what, if a woman can live off of $800 a month just on child support and don't aspire to do more, she got bigger problems than that.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just thinking in the sense of, if, for someone like in Q's case, right? Q will get his kids any chance he can get. I've seen it, right?
He's an excellent father.
So if he's willing to get his kids 50% of the time or more, and now he's paying $20,000, right? So for me, I'm just looking at it like if they splitting it 50-50, he's paying $20,000. Now she has to pay $20,000 because she has the kids at the time. Has there been $40,000 worth of expenses for that child over the course of 5 years? I don't think so.
That's when you go into shared parenting. When you go into shared parenting, you get it done by the courts, then it is one of those, okay, you got them 50% of the time, I got them 50% of the time, then it can break even. You know, but that's when it's legally put as shared parenting, not as the primary parent. But that all goes back to the relationship that you have with the mother or the father of your child.
That's the point, is that you gave, and the mothers I talked to, they gave their dad, oh no, I'm sorry, not their dads, but the child's father, chances to come up to an agreement. I didn't get no chance. You know, it was no, well, no, I'll take that back. My daughter's mom was no chance. My son's mom, we tried to come up with a number. I gave her a number. and I was paying that number every 2 weeks. This was from January, I want to say 2015, January 2015. So I'm thinking we good, because I'm paying this every 2 weeks. She ain't got no problem with it. Come July, it's a sheriff at my door, serving me child support papers. So in my mind, I'm thinking, well, damn, like, I was paying you this money. I thought we was good, and you went downtown to file for child support anyways. So it's like, so what was the point of us coming up to, and matter of fact, what was the point of you taking my money if you knew that wasn't good enough?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
But did you take, when you went to court, did you let them know that you was giving her that money?
No, that's what I'm saying. I missed my court date because I got my dates mixed up. So I wasn't there to defend myself. You see
But you know you can always go back on that.
I'm glad you said that as well. I'm gonna get to that in a second. But you was talking about, you know, the roof over their head and things of that nature. Well, this is what I have a problem with, is that this is not geared towards you, but I get so sick and tired of moms getting to stand behind, it's for the child, it's for the child. Cool. So therefore, you mean to tell me that when I have my child, I can't allow to have a roof over his head, clothes on his back, and food on his table? I can't do that if you're taking all the money out of my pocket, but it's for the child though. So no, it's not for the child, it's for you. Because if it's truly for the child, then you would be like, okay, Quinn, because I've seen this, and I wish I was still talking to the young lady, but I'm not, so she could verify the story. But she had her child's father on child support. When the father came to get the child, she would give the father a couple of dollars, just in case he wanted to get him something to eat, some clothes or whatever. That's when it's about the child, because she's like, okay, I know that you're on child support. I don't know what your financial situation is like, but I'm going to give you some of the child support money just in case you got to get him some food, or just in case you got, that's when it's for the child. These moms out here, some of these moms out here, they don't look at stuff like that. Like, it's more so, when I have the child, I need your child support money because it's for the child, but when you got them, you on your own, do what you got to do. How's that fair?
It's not fair.
Like I was saying earlier, is that if you don't have loving parents, a relative, a friend, or a roommate that you can live with, in situations like mine's, if you ain't got none of those, you pretty much ASS out because you ain't got nowhere to live. And like I tell people, imagine working 80 hours every 2 weeks,
Yeah.
and you bringing home part-time pay.
Yeah.
How you supposed to survive? And then on top of that, you still got to get your kids and take care of them. So how you supposed to do that? So when I get my kids, my whole check is gone to them. So I got to figure out a way to go ahead.
This is the thing too. Like, and that's why I brought up like the difference in the money thing, because I believe that if he wasn't paying child support and he kept his 3 kids, with him working at 80 hours a week, I believe that he could put a roof over their head, still be able to provide for them, and be able to live a functional life, as opposed to now you counting your dollars because you paid out so much in child support. $1,000-something, that's, I mean, right there alone, that's an apartment, 2-3 bedroom apartment,
Yeah.
covering your bills, maybe buying shoes for them for the month. I mean, that can cover a lot. So is it really worth, I mean, I don't want to put a value on what a kid's life is worth, because I think you can say that, kids are worth whatever, but do I feel like Q's paying too much when he tells me? I feel like he is, because I feel like if he were to keep that money, not be paying child support, and keep all 3 kids, I think that he could make a life for the kids and himself and be comfortable and not feel like he's working on a part-time
Salary, pretty much. And like I said, everything I've seen it, like, I've told them, how are you okay? Like, my kids don't know now. Like, they just think everything is cool. Kids don't know nothing. But as we get older, we start to think back, like, I'm pretty sure y'all have thought back to, like, dang, how did my mom afford to do that for me?
Yeah.
Like, so when my kids get older, they realize, dang, my daddy was going through that, and he still managed to do this?
Yeah.
But I asked them, how are you okay with you seeing your kids watch their dad struggle? Like, how are you okay with that?
And what was their response?
She didn't have one. Because there is no answer. And don't get it twisted, I'm not against child support, and I even told her, I said, you can keep me on child support. That's cool. Just lower it and give me a chance. That's all I ask for.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go downtown. I'm gonna do.
She could stop the ridge right now.
I said, am I allowed to do that? I said, the same way
She
you
knows.
put me on child support, the same way you can go downtown and have it adjusted. I said, the difference is, she's like, well, why don't you do it? I said, well, the difference is if I do it, I got to jump through hoops.
You got to get a lawyer. You got to go back through court, set up a court date, do all that.
Exactly.
She can simply go down there, right there and say, you know what? She could say, I don't want child support no more.
At all.
She could say, I don't want, you can stop their arrears. They'll take all that money back.
And that's what I was trying to explain to her. I said, if you do it, it's a simple process for you. For me, I got to go through this. And then on top of that, let's
It's been
say,
feeling too good though.
huh?
I said it's been feeling
It's
too
been-
good. That's just like, and that's when you know that someone's depending on something, right? So, and not saying that if you receiving child support for a child that you taking care of, that someone else may not be taking care of, that you don't deserve that money, and that you shouldn't, in some ways, depend on that money to take care of the child. But if he's already taking care of the child on his own, why can't she take that money back? Because now she's already got that money budgeted to something else or whatever she's doing, or it's going to take away from some part of her lifestyle that she's already living.
And that may be correct. And so,
Because by all means, if she takes away the arrears, he probably ain't gonna do nothing but put the money right back into the kid.
Exactly.
I'm gonna tell y'all something. So, you know, my son, when I probably about 4 years ago, I started having a lot of issues out of my son, right? He first of all, before I start that, my son's father with his job, they used to get a lot of bonuses or whatever, right? He was paying me $615. He came to me and said, "Look, I'm not getting the bonuses I used to get. Would you mind lowering it?" That's cool. I went down there myself and lowered it. Why? Because he was taking care of my son regardless. It didn't matter if he was paying me $615 a month. If I needed him to pick him up, but what he also understood with his job, he couldn't be there physically like he wanted to be, but every other weekend because of the man, how his job was so demanding. So he knew all the things that I had to do, all the times I had to go to school because either my son had an event or he was in trouble or whatever, maybe get up in the morning, take him to school, whatever. He understood. But at the same time, so when my son started getting in trouble, whatever, I said, "Hey, you got to go live with your daddy. Like, I can't do this. Like, you know what I'm saying? He was going through issues. Your mouth is bad, whatever, talking crazy." His dad let him come over and live there. The last probably 2 years. Now, what y'all think happened?
You took him off.
No, he kept paying. Now, even my husband was like, "Shh, I don't think that's right." But what he said, but anytime he asked me for money, "Hey, you got 50 or whatever?" "Oh, Cash App all day." You know what I'm saying? He didn't have to, but he knew I had started going back to school, and not that I needed it because I had my husband, and my husband, you know what I'm saying, is straight. Yeah. But I still was the one, because he was working, still going back and forth to the school, still having to take him to the doctor's appointments, still whatever needed to be done for my son outside of finances, I was still doing it. He could have took me off, and I couldn't have been mad about it. Couldn't have said nothing, but that's just the type of person he was, and I'm the type of person that anything that he needed when it came to it, because he had my son, like you said, when he was with him, "Hey, can you give me $100 for some shoes?" What I look like saying no when he living with you?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but everybody's not like that, and that's why I tell everybody, and I know, I mean, I was 15 when I had my first daughter, so you can't say it. Even at this day and age, you still got people having kids talking about, "I ain't know they was like that." Man, listen, stop sleeping with people that you can't see being the mother or the father of your child. No, it's just real talk. Dudes is always out here getting mad. Somebody made it.
But that's not to say that, like,
listen, the dude,
someone
listen.
could think that person
Okay,
could be someone they
but when
would
we was in the restaurant, what did that dude say? He said, "I'm sick of these girls out here getting pregnant by these rappers on purpose. They know what they doing." First of all, she didn't get pregnant by herself. They trying to get all this money. He needs to protect himself, and I'm not talking about just, use a condom. Protect himself, period, because he knows half the time he wouldn't have all them women at his feet anyway. Yeah, at his disposal if he wasn't doing what he was doing. So he's using that to his benefit. You know what I mean? So when you worth millions and you out here just sticking it in whatever, and then this girl, random chick, pop up pregnant, and you mad because they talking about $15,000 a month. Whose fault is that?
That's on dude.
Whose fault is it?
That's on dude.
Okay. But a lot of people are quick to say, "All these girls out here, they gold diggers, they know what they doing." But she didn't rape him, and she didn't get pregnant by herself. He knew what he was doing too. So you got a situation, Q, that a lot of men have. That you take care of your kids, and you still get railroaded.
Yeah.
And it's a sad situation, but you continue to do what you're doing when you come take care of your kids. Because I'm going to tell you what, no matter what I went through with my daughter's father, I never badmouthed him to her. I didn't have to, because after she started getting older, she started seeing on her own.
That's what my mom said.
Like, dang, I asked my daddy for such and such. And you know what he would tell her? Tell your mama do it. She got child support. She'd be like, but that's not
Why would you even say it?
exactly. But those are the things that he would say to her. So she started seeing it. It didn't take for me to sit there and be like, your daddy ain't da 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 da. Regardless of paying the money, you didn't live in this state. So you couldn't physically do nothing for her.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You lived in a whole nother state because that's a choice that you chose to move away and do whatever to better your life. That's fine. But the little money that you were sending, as she started getting older, like how much you think a child's gonna eat? More than $115 a month on top of clothes and shoes and events or whatever. Like she shouldn't be limited.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like I said, I've been on both sides. I've seen it with my little cousin. Man, he love his daughter. He do whatever. He don't got a whole lot of money. He works part-time jobs. You know what I'm saying? But when she with the mama, I'm kind of like, well, we got her she with us 5 out of 7 days of the week.
Yeah.
What you need money over there for? So I see it. You know what I'm saying? Now, if she had her majority, and this is not me putting a knock on her, I'm not saying it, but I'm just saying, if she had her most of the time and needed the help, that'd be one thing.
Yeah.
But the fact that she's with our family 5 out of 7 days.
Yeah, I don't. I'm gonna touch on that topic too in a little bit as far as like the picking up process as well. We're going to take a quick commercial break here on He Said, She Said on WLXU 93.9 FM. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about child support.
Was it 721?
721-5690.
Hey, but you know what's crazy is soon as women got paid child support to these dudes, Halle Berry, what she paid, like $20,000 a month? Shh, that's what she get. Like, but why is it okay now? And you know what they say? Because that child should be able to live the same type of life when she's with her dad and have the same type of protection that she does when she's with her mom.
And that's what I'm saying. And
You know
I mean, even if
but Halle Berry got custody of her.
Oh, okay.
She's with her. But they're saying because she makes so much more money than him, in a lot of situations, it's not the woman making more money than the man. It's usually the man making more money than the woman.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Try to hop back on. So we can try to hop back on.
Yeah.
Because I know, because they got someone coming in at 5.
Yeah, I know. I was just taking a quick commercial break just to get that information.
Do
out there. Yeah, they got somebody coming at 5. Welcome back to He Said, She Said on WLXU 93.9 FM. Today's topic is child support. We're going to finish this thing on up here. I wanted to dive into the picking up process
Right, Samantha.
as well.
Go ahead.
In my case, people who know me know that I used to get my kids from school, daycare, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
But it started to get too costly. And what I mean by that is that if I come get my kids throughout the week, I still got to pay gas and, of course, feed them because I'm not going to send my kids back home with nothing to eat. And then that's a whole nother argument. Well, why ain't you feed them?
Mm-hmm.
So I can't afford to.
Because you got the food money.
Pretty much. Pretty much. So I can't afford to pick them up 2 and 3 times out of the week, gas, get to work, to and from work, still feed them, and still find a way to take care of myself at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, some people have asked me, Q, how do you even do it? And I'm like, man, Roman noodles and water. And I'm being dead serious. Like, for real, because a lot of times, and with y'all being parents, you know that you'll sacrifice something for yourself just to make sure you know what? If I know I'm going to get my kids 2 times this week, what am I going to cut back on to make sure I can still feed them and send them back home? You see what I'm saying? Oh, no, you good. Or, like, for instance, there have been times where I had my daughter, there was one instance where I had my daughter during the summertime, right? I told her mom, I said, hey, since my daughter's not going to be there, just give me the child support money and we'll work it out like that. Since my daughter's not going to be there during the summertime, there's no point in me paying child support for a child that's not there. She told me no. I don't understand it. So fast forward to September, she ended up asking me for some money. And I told her no. And she got upset with me and she was like, well, why? I was like, well, when my daughter was with me, what was you doing May, June, July, and some of August? To where you wasn't saving that money? Because
Exactly.
what she specifically needed for, you knew that you was going to need that at this time. So why wasn't you already planning ahead and saving that money since you weren't giving it to me?
Right.
So why wasn't you going ahead and stacking your money? Like, stuff like that. Like, I have so many instances where there was another situation where we were signing my child up for something, and the mom had called me and was like, hey, can you put something on this? And I said, yeah, I got $5. She was like, $5 what? I said, I got $5 for you. And she was like, no, serious. I was like, no, serious. She was like, well, I don't know. I was like, well, I guess they ain't signing up then.
The difference is, Q, is that you honestly don't have it. Like, and I say it in a sense, and this is not me being demeaning, like, you work your jobs and you really don't have it to give them. You have to be able to live. So yours is a different situation as opposed to people that got it
And just don't
want to do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a different situation.
And I'm gonna make a comment. You said something earlier, and I never thought about this until my husband brought it up to me. I believe, and a lot of people get mad about this, from the day the baby come out of the womb, the man needs to get a DNA test. Period.
Every man.
Oh yeah.
Every man. I don't care if you're married.
No, I agree.
And I don't care. And I'm gonna tell you why. You got situations where men have been married and their wives have cheated on them. They found out that's not their child. They end up getting a divorce. You know what the judge said? You still pay child support because who else gonna take care of the child? You've been taking care of the child. This alleviates so many issues with the man thinking it's his baby. And this is not to say, to discredit the mother. I just think that whether it be health reasons and always knowing from day one.
Discredit our grip if she let that fly.
For what, 10, 12 years you've been letting me raise this?
But I'm saying discredit the mother in the fact that when you have the DNA test, it's not saying you've been cheating. I just think that it's a law that from coming out from birth, that the father should have the DNA test, and that establishes it right then and there. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it, because you do. With the situation in Detroit, real quick, the man, she said she went down for to receive benefits.
Mm-hmm.
They told her she needed to put a man's name down. She put his name down. Never slept with him. Put his name down. Like, for real talk.
That's crazy.
They came and locked this man up for child support. He was like, "What are y'all talking about? Like, I didn't know nothing about it. I've never even slept with that woman." You know what I'm saying? Lost his job, went to jail. She finally told the truth and was like, "I just needed a name. I'm sorry." What does that do? They still ain't fixed it in the courts to take the money off. He still lost his job, all of that. You know what I mean? So before, your birth certificate, look, she don't know, she just don't know. And if you don't know at the time that you have the baby who's the father is, I don't think you can then come back and ask for child support years later. The fact that you didn't put yourself in a bad situation.
But I think also, man, just to speak on the system being broken, right? I think the system itself is really meant to hurt black men,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because one of the biggest issues within our community is incarceration and the debt or the wealth of the black man, right? And child support, whether you put a man on child support, I'm not saying if the man's not paying, you got to get the money from him, right? You got to get some kind of support. However, incarcerating that man then takes away his opportunity to possibly get a job in the future, as opposed to maybe going through some making mandatory classes that this man has to go through in regards to teaching him or showing him that, hey, you need to provide for this child. Or now, incarceration is the very, very last step, in my opinion, if it's even a step. But
I think a way they could fix it is that whoever files child support, whether it be the guy or the woman, it should be mandatory that y'all take at least 3 mediation classes together to see if y'all can try to figure this thing out before y'all take the next step and go into court.
Yeah.
Because if y'all can get together with somebody who isn't biased and make y'all see each other's point of view to be like, okay, he can't do this, but he can do this. She can't do, and then y'all can come to agreement, and the courts ain't even got to be involved, and y'all can get it written up, and you have somebody mediate it, whatever the case may be, notarize it, and then boom, y'all good. And I wish that I would have gotten an opportunity to do something like that instead of just flat out just getting put on child support, no ifs, ands, buts about it. And then for the people who are like, well, why don't you just go downstairs? Go downtown and get it adjusted. Well, you can only go every 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
I've done that. I've filed the paperwork. For some odd reason, what a coincidence, they either can't find my paperwork, so I got to resubmit it, or somehow, some way they lose my paperwork, so it's always something when I'm calling down there to do a checkup to see what my status is. They never got an answer for me. So a lot of dudes go through that, and then in my situation where you have a lot of guys who can't afford an attorney because of the child support. So then what do you do then?
Man, I know plenty of situations where the dads are really good dads and the relationships went sour and the moms is some BS and the dads is working 100 hours a week to take care of their kids. And I see what type of fathers they are. You know what I'm saying? But like you said, you're in a situation where the system's broken. And I also see situations where the moms out here busting their tail, and the dads will purposely not keep a job so they don't have to pay child support.
Hey, real
So
talk,
if
man.
you
I
don't-
got a homeboy that he told me he did that,
Yeah.
and it made me look at him different, and it made me distance myself from him, right?
Mhm.
Because he was saying that every time child support would catch up to him, he would quit the job and move to the next. And for me, you know what I'm saying, I like to keep high character people around me, especially when it comes to being a parent, whether it be a woman or a father. So to hear him say that made me distance myself from him. Cause I'm
Now,
like,
do you think he deserves to go to jail? Because he ain't planning on paying anyway.
I
So
don't
why you
necessarily-
get to sit out here and live your life and do what you do
No,
and
you're
have
right,
freedom?
you're right.
No, I'm just asking. Do you think that's a situation?
I don't think that's the first measure. I mean, I think it is what it is. I think that one, either, I mean, maybe it should all be tied and it should instantly hit, because he told me he would work for a couple months, then they would catch up to him. I don't know. When he puts the Social Security number down, maybe that brings up and they automatically start deducting his check.
No, that's something they need to do.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah,
when the mama finds
yeah.
out where they are, they have to take it down there and let them know. And then they come back and be like, oh, okay, then it starts hitting the check. But
I
I
just
think
say-
that's something they need to do is put their social security number in the system.
That's how they do me, which is when I, switch jobs, when I get a job, they automatically run my social security number, and that social security number lets them know where my job is so they can start taking it out of my check. So they automatically start doing that. Now, it may take 1 or 2 checks for that to start happening, but at the end, they will get it. You know what I'm saying? It might take a month or 2, but they will start deducting money from your check.
See, and all that's a double-edged sword, the whole system. Because you could be, if you working 100 hours now, well, let's say you're working, a typical work week is 40 hours, but now you're working 60 to keep your head above water. But because you're working 60,
You
now
don't
you're taking
spend
away
time
time
for
to
your
take care of the
kids.
kids.
Exactly.
Man, what?
If
Yeah.
you work 40, you're paying out all this money, and you could barely survive. So even if you have your kids, you can't even
I
provide
can't
for
even
your
provide
kids.
for them.
Or you don't
The
get to
way
spend
you want
time
to.
with them. Then it comes to you don't ever spend time with your kids, or your kids don't understand why you ain't spending time with them because you're working so much.
Facts. That's the reason why, and I told the people this is that I left the car when I was at the car lot.
Mm-hmm.
I was making good money because obviously you have your base pay, then you make your commission.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was like, dang, how can I find a way to make more money? So I was trying to find commission-based jobs to where I can still pay my child support, because once they get their 60%, everything after that I can put in my pocket.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I was looking for commission-based jobs. But when you at a car lot, for those who sold cars, you there every day, almost every day.
Mhm.
So think about it like this. I get my kids that Friday. I get off at 6 or 7. That's a couple of hours. I got to turn around, go to the car lot the next morning from 9 to 6 or 7. Get off, have them for a couple hours. They got to go back home Sunday. I ain't spent no time with them.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like I'm making money, but now I'm losing time with my kids. So it's a catch-22.
So
And explain this to me, because this is what I understand. If you were to start making more money, they take more money. Am I
No,
right?
No,
They
it's
still,
a
they still can
Okay.
get
It's a
their,
set.
that's why I was getting commission-based jobs, because they can still get their set amount, and then with me having commissions, whatever I get left after that goes in my pocket.
yeah.
So they get their 60%. Let's say I make $5,000 that month. They get their 60% out of that, and then whatever else I get to keep. You see what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, okay.
but then like I said, it came to a point where I was missing time with my kids.
So what you gonna do about it, man? Sounds like to me you need to. No, look, this is me being serious.
No,
I
I'm
see
just-
a lot
I
of
was
people that are upset about it and they complain about it, but there's so many things that we can do outside of talking about it, which is actually get with men and get with women that agree with it, and actually go down there and try to make a change. Like there's things that can be done. I'm like for real, like outside of, you know what I'm saying, just being mad about it. What are you gonna do about it?
That's the thing, and I've said it, and I actually said and thought about that. Like, dang, I want to try to make a change. Like, this is the guys on the truth. I've said and thought about, like, I wish there was a way I could get some laws changed, or be an advocate, or be the poster child for child support laws. And for anybody out there who is listening or watching via Facebook Live, if you can jump in my inbox, give me some ideas, suggestions on how you can even help me, steer me in the right direction with my situation. Because like I said, I'm not doing this as a bitter dad trying to get back at the moms.
Nah, he a good daddy, y'all.
I just want to have an opportunity to have the same thing. Like, for instance, I have a job to where it affords me certain perks. A lot of people ask me, why don't I take advantage of those perks? Well, hell, I don't have enough money to always do that. You know what I'm
ain't
saying?
got the time.
It's not even that. It's just that, how can I afford to take all of my kids?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So, if she was to go well, not her, I'm sorry. if I was to take my kids somewhere right now, expensive, let's say Disney World, 'cause I got my daughter's cheer competition coming up, and I was to ask the moms, hey, look, I got this great opportunity to take the kids down here to Disney World. All you got to do is help me with hotel and food. I would bet any amount of money she'd be like, no. I guarantee it. I guarantee it they would say no. But let them need help with something, a trip, or whatever the case may be. Oh, they ain't got no problem asking me. Like I'm just supposed to offer extra money on top of the money that I'm paying right now. And I don't think that stuff is cool, but you know,
We're gonna start a GoFundMe for
Please do.
Walker's Child Support right now. GoFundMe because he's a good daddy.com.
And
You know
like
what
I
I'm saying?
said, and don't get it twisted for the people who are listening and watching. The mothers of my kids, they are great moms. Like I'm not trying to put them down, not bashing them. They are great mothers to my kids. It's just that the child support situation between us is not the best, and I wish they would work with me to fix that. And that's all I'm saying.
We're
But
gonna have to come up with this discussion again. There's a lot of people tuning in, and the hour's just not enough. So
Yeah.
And I love what Q Roberts just said though. If a man doesn't have the means to take care of his kid, they go to jail. If a woman can't take care of their kid, they get food stamps, Section 8, etc.
that's another thing. Before I get out of here, I can't get that because they got it.
That's crazy.
So I can't get it.
Ah,
Another
like a
thing.
primary parent.
Yeah. So another thing, income taxes. For the guys who don't know, you're
oh, they
allowed
claim
to.
them too, right?
I said, okay, look. I know they're gonna garnish my wages. So how about we just do this? You can claim them every year. I'm cool with that. Just give me a little bit of it. Nope.
But you paying child support. You know, me and my son's father went down there and we got it. He got him every other year. You can do that because
So
you're paying child
yeah,
support.
show
If
anybody
if
out there,
have,
show me, tell me
if you
how
have
to
joint-
do it.
You got joint custody?
No, that's the thing. We don't have joint custody.
Ah, well, we're gonna work on that. GoFundMe for joint custody for Q Walker. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, but it's been a great show today about child support. I appreciate everybody on Facebook Live who tuned in today. Allow me to share my story. Chrissy, I appreciate you sharing your story today. Dido, you got something to say before we get on up out of here?
Next week's topic. Next week's topic.
So next week's topic, we want y'all to tune in. We are going to talk about support for black businesses and why people don't show more support for black businesses. Chrissy J, you want to say something before we get out of
It's
here?
Chrissy J. Live it like you love it or leave it alone.
All right, this is Q Walker. We're going to get on up out of here, and I want you to treat somebody how you want somebody to treat your mama. We out of here.
We're gonna have to have another conversation.